When we have Meher Baba as a guide, what is the value of relying on astrology to give us guidance?
Ha ha, astrology. One of the Baba's messages that I have not come to displace anything in this world. I have not even come to destroy illusion. Everything is right in its own place. All we have to know, where is what? What is a frog and what is a lion? We must know. What is the capacity of a frog and what is the capacity of a lion? The sense of values that Baba has taught us. We are talking about spirituality, we are talking about the avatar, we are talking about love of God. And where is the place of this astrology? I don't know. It exists in its own place, it may be there, but it has got no importance at all. I may compare to something like this. If I compare my whole body as dedicated in the love of Meher Baba as something very real, because it sustains that dedication. What will be astrology? A tip of my toe, nail. That will be astrology. It is there, the nail is there, but it is cut off and thrown away. That is all. We should be able to place things where they are. One man studied the anatomy of a human being, but somehow he did not study where was what. He only counted all the limbs of the body and bragged that I know the entire anatomy. So one doctor said, all right, you know anatomy, please draw the picture. Draw the picture of a human being. Let me show how far perfect you are in your knowledge of anatomy. So he brought in all the limbs together. But the nose was placed on the head and the foot was placed on the back. Instead of here, it was placed there. And doctor says, what have you done? So please count, all the limbs are there. One nose is there, 2 eyes are there, 2 ears are there, 10 fingers are there, 10 toes are there. Is there anything less or more? But where is what? It's not a human, it's some hideous caricature you have drawn. It's not a human being. So we have to have a sense of values. Where is what? And that is what Baba teaches us. And that is why psychicism and so many other things also, Baba wrote something, gave us the understanding about it, but he has never asked us to go after it or follow it or to study it. They are there. Communication with the spirit. I do not know, my imagination really cannot rise as high or as low. Communication with the spirit of whom? The man was passed away. And what about reincarnation? He takes birth somewhere else. And there was a story that a man died and he was coming, and a man died and he was buried somewhere. I do not exactly know. And people thought that it was the tomb of some saint. It was the tomb of the relative of the man who goes to pray, hardly realizing that he was his own relative who had died and he was buried there. Suffice to say that when after a man dies, of course he takes another form. He stays for some time in a subtle world or maybe mental world. He takes again form until he becomes perfect. He goes on taking forms. Where does he stay there for communication? But then the responses are there. And they say they are true. And I say yes, they exist. As what? I shall give you an instance. Have you seen a lizard? A lizard? When a lizard is killed and the tail is separated from the body, the lizard dies, but the tail goes on wagging for an hour or two. You may have noticed, I have noticed. In like manner, a man dies, his soul passes away, his semi-subtle body, which is with the Theosophists called the astral body, it floats. The lizard, this tail wags for 2 hours, it may wag for 200 or 500 years, we do not know. And it is that floating body which is composed of subtle particles, which is really gross particles in their rarefied form, with which the communications are there. And it is the response of their own thoughts also. It is something like that. It is in no way substantial at all. And one should not even try to read anything of it, neither divert any attention towards it at all. And it has no relationship with spirituality. Yes?
Does friendship have a relationship to spirituality?
If friendship has love in it, and if that love is unselfish, if it is selfish, it is not spiritual. If it is unselfish, it is spiritual. It has an aspect of spirituality.
In your 47 years with Meher Baba, what do you feel was the most important thing he taught you about yourself?
He taught me about myself. All he taught me that I should forget myself. Jai Baba.
The following is the fifth and final talk given by Adi K. Irani at the Silence Day celebration, delivered on the morning of July 4th at 10 o'clock.
Let me wish you all Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba, as it is explained, means the triumph of Baba's work for the benefit of us all. This is our last day here, and we do not know at this place or with these people when we shall be able to meet again. Of course, many of you or some of you may meet in future programs. That is a possibility also. What could the last message be? I do not think I am ever capable of giving a message. My work would be only to present Baba's message all the time. And sometimes, if the message is not clear, to make it a little clear. There are two types of messages Baba has given. So far I have understood them to be. Maybe in future I may be able to find out other categories of Baba's messages, about which I am not sure today. The two categories are that in one message Meher Baba speaks or says about his own spiritual status, about his own consciousness, about his own spiritual authority. This message is very important indeed. This message we should take, understand, have faith in, and be convinced about the statement. But such a message in which Meher Baba reveals his own authority, we cannot take it up and try to use it in our life. I shall further explain what it is. But we can always quote and say that this is Meher Baba's message, this is the truth, and we have to understand and be convinced about it. But I cannot apply that message directly to myself. I have seen some Baba lovers. I do not know much of the USA or foreign countries, foreign to India. But India, I have found just few of them take up such a message for their self-aggrandizement. They come out and assume to themselves the position that Meher Baba has explained about himself by virtue of his own experience. For instance, in a message, Meher Baba says, you and I are not two. You and I are not two. We are one. Then the man comes out and said, I am Meher Baba. For the matter of that, everybody is Meher Baba. Why he alone? And if everybody is Meher Baba, there is no reason for him to come out and say exclusively that I am Meher Baba. And if he says at the same time, he must say that everybody is Meher Baba. That he doesn't do. Once at Hyderabad, I had gone there. Such a person, of course I don't want to name him. We are not much concerned with the name. We are much concerned to find to ourselves what we should do regarding Baba's messages in future. This man said, the most important message of Meher Baba is that he says, you and I are not two, and we are one. I was waiting what he further would say. But I don't know, because of my presence, he did not say anything further. I had heard from quite a number of people that he had assumed to himself the position of Meher Baba, and he had said that I am Meher Baba. Anyway, this time he did not do it. Then after a little while, my turn came to give a talk. I just got up. And I said, sir, our worthy Baba lover has said that you and I are not two, we are one. It is quite true. It's a very important message indeed. But do you know that this message means that I should quote Meher Baba and say that Meher Baba says. And I'm convinced of what he says. But I can't just take the cap and put on my head and say that I'm Meher Baba. I can't take the crown and put it on my head and say I'm Meher Baba. Because there is a great difference. He says because he experiences. I say because he says. I have faith in him, I have conviction in him. And by virtue of my conviction, I definitely say it is the truth. But I can't assume to myself that position. This is very wrong. This is very false. This is very misleading. Then I said, there is a still greater and important message of Meher Baba which we should directly apply to our life. Wherein Meher Baba says, become the dust of my feet. He gives us a conduct. He gives us a code of conduct to live. If Meher Baba meant by the revelation of his own spiritual status or authority that you are also Meher Baba, I shall tell you, essentially everybody is Meher Baba. But where is the consciousness? I am not conscious. What is the good of my... Everybody is, for the matter of that, God. Everybody is Meher Baba, but where is the consciousness? He has got and I do not have it. What difference does it make? He has got $10 in his pocket. And Jack Small, forgetful as he is, he has got $10,000 in his pocket. But he is not conscious. The man who has got 10,000... And this gentleman is very conscious that he has got $10. Now, if you ask me who is richer of the two, I shall say man who has got $10 is conscious of $10, and not the man who has got $10,000, he is not conscious. Consciousness makes the world of difference. And that is why this entire illusion has assumed such a great proportion, even in the eyes of the avatar. Yesterday I said, isn't it about Meramai representing the whole illusion? Because of this, because of the consciousness that was latent in the beyond state, had to evolve. And illusion has been a handmaid of that consciousness, has helped that consciousness to be evolved fully. But after the consciousness is evolved, the purpose for which it was evolved, we have to apply it. But we don't apply for the thing it was evolved, for the purpose it was evolved, and our attention is so much absorbed by the illusion that we misutilize the illusion and the consciousness and apply it to the illusion rather than to our real self. And I do think that is why, as Baba says, the path of involution that was established only because of this. Otherwise man in his full consciousness is fully perfect. He can realize God at a fraction of a second now. But he does not do it. He is as oblivious as this man having $10,000 in his pocket, he can't make use of it. And $10 he can make use of it. So, on consciousness depends a great utility. So, Baba's messages are of two kinds. I have not really gone through all the messages and put them into two different categories. The one category wherein Baba reveals his own spiritual status, and in another, he says something which we can directly apply in our life and make use of it. Not that the revelation which he gives in the first category of his message, we cannot make use of it. But we have to make use of it in a proper way. Just as I yesterday gave an example, that a razor in the hand of a monkey, what will he do? Is he going to shave himself or shave anybody? He may cut his own throat or somebody else's. So with this message, a man who comes and says, I am Meher Baba, is cutting his throat, nothing else. And we have to be very cautious. And the play of and why this has to be insisted upon now? Because if such a tendency is formed in future, people will just prop up. There are quite a few in India, I know, not all of one kind, of different kinds, trying to assert themselves. Knowing little, try to say many things about themselves and their contact with Baba and all that. And we have to be very cautious. I thought it fit to bring out this subject today, the last day, because in times to come, Baba had already said, they will grow like mushrooms. These imitation saints, these false perfect masters. You know that if a seed is sown of a tree, say of a mango tree, or any other tree, peach tree, any other good tree, fruit tree, and all around it you see there are many plants growing up. Don't you see them? They always grow. They are eventually to be destroyed. So when the tree of real knowledge grows and manifests itself in the form of the avatar, there are many small, poisonous, good-for-nothing plants coming up, trying to assert themselves, trying to shine in the light. They cannot get the light, but they try to shine in the shadow of the avatar. And we have to be very cautious about this. And we have to always keep our eyes and our heart and our mind open. What are we in possession of? Really speaking, we are in possession of three things only. But three things are very great in their own positions. And one is our body. Another is what we call our mind. And the third, the most important, the supreme thing of our life is our heart. Beyond that we cannot go. I may conceive of God, but I may think of God, but my conception will not go beyond my imagination. It is bound by my imagination. So whatever I conceive of is within the limits of that imagination. I am bound by my imagination. I have to break through this imagination and go out. But I am not able to do. Unaided by the avatar. Now, there is such a thing, although I am not able to do, but I can, to make it easy for the avatar. To help him to help you. You can do many things with these three instruments which we have on hand. And the one is the body first. We have to see that we keep our body healthy. But we go on stuffing the body with food, like a pump, all the time. We go on smoking our body with smoke all the time. I am not immune to this, sir. Let me tell you. So we have to see that our body remains clean. And somebody falls ill, naturally we are out to take medicines, but we have to be very discreet in these days. Medicines and drugs are very harsh indeed. I do not want to say anything for or against these drugs, but for the benefit of our health, we should be very discreet and not always go in for very heavy shots It is said that in Indian medicine says that there are 4 elements in the body. One is the earth, another is the water, third is the fire, and fourth is the air. All should be kept balanced. If all these elements are kept balanced by any means, health is always there for the man. Now let us go to the mind. The second thing, the second step. Why I brought the subject of the body is, and the health of the body, because body always acts on the mind, mind reacts on the body. There is always an interaction between the body and the mind, and they function together. So if the body is healthy, there will not be any reaction on the mind, and mind, in spite of its being healthy, may not get frustrated because of the body. They are so closely knit together, wedded together. Now this mind is the most mischievous thing. All the happinesses and all the miseries of this world, the source is the mind. Of course, in the final sense, the source is something very different, but so far lies within our free will. Our mind is there, and we can, if we want, keep it balanced. Now let me tell you one thing that has occurred to me, that when a man is attacked with certain disease, the disease does not directly go to the body at all. It first goes to the subtle body. You have read about the subtle body as explained by Baba. Then it goes to the semi-subtle body, which the Theosophists call the astral body. And then it comes to the physical body. Now, if we have the understanding, if we have the feel of the subtle body, man need not be spiritually advanced to see the subtle world and the subtle body at all. But if he has the feel, if he has the knack of the subtle body, when the disease tries to enter the subtle body, he can throw it away there. So the disease has no chance to come to the physical body at all. Then the next, supposing a man is not alert enough, is not able to throw out from the subtle body, then it comes to the astral body, to the semi-subtle body. And he has to arise and awake and throw it out from there. He is capable of doing, he has got the strength to do it. Somehow it escapes. The man is too lethargic, he doesn't bother about it. And then he finally comes and attacks the physical body. Even in its initial stage, physical body, through the physical body he can throw it out, expunge it. He doesn't bother about it. He just keeps himself open, exposes himself to that, and then when the disease comes and establishes itself with the body, it establishes its own individuality, and then it is very difficult to throw it out. It all depends how chronic it becomes. And that's why these chronic diseases do not go out. What I mean to say, that mind, which is really very mischievous, has got the power, if utilized in a proper way. It has the power to give us happiness, it has the power to create great misery for us. And then the next is the heart. What an innocent thing. अच्छा है कि दिल के पास रहे पासबान अक्ल, लेकिन कभी कभी इसे तन्हा भी छोड़ दे. It is all right that the mind stands as a sentinel or a guard alongside your heart. The heart is very innocent. The heart is likely to be stolen by somebody, is likely to be invaded by somebody, likely to be usurped by somebody. So the mind keeps a watch. But in spite of that, do not your heart be always burdened with your mind. Separate them and keep aloof. Let the heart function on its own at times. अच्छा है कि दिल के पास रहे पासबान अक्ल, लेकिन कभी कभी इसे तन्हा भी छोड़. Leave it alone at times, because the mind has all the tendencies of help and also burdening the heart. The heart becomes so unselfish at times, but the mind says, no, you become more selfish, this is not good. In that respect, it would not be helpful at all. Now for the matter of spirituality, mind is required. Heart is most essential. It is the symbol of love and the symbol of guidance is your mind. And unless and until a balance is attained, if it is only heart, it is like a vast sheet of water, substance. Heart has got the substance, the raw material. What is the good of having that raw material in the form of a vast sheet of water? It can be of no use to anybody at all. It has to be channelized. And take for granted that the mind is a channel, like a river bed, over which the water would flow and could be directed to any place one wants. Only mind and no heart is like a river bed without water. Only heart and no mind is what? A vast sheet of water with no direction whatsoever. So both heart have to be, should be there. Both should be utilized. None of them should be shunned. In spite of all the difficulties sometimes the mind creates, we cannot shun it. It's a very useful thing. We must know how to utilize it. Then Baba has so beautifully explained, balance your mind and heart. But how can I get the balance? I do not know. The moment I try to do it, it escapes. At the time of death, always an opportunity is given to balance all our impressions, good and bad. Impressions, good and bad, are both binding. We have to get rid of good and we have to get rid of bad. But why we are asked always to perform good acts? Because we have got plenty of stockpile of all the bad things we have done in our life. And that is to be resolved by the strength of the good things we have to acquire. That is why we are asked to do good acts. And there is one thing. You see, anything that a man does bad, there is always a reaction on him. But anything that he does good, there is no reaction. And if the reaction is there, it is a very pleasant, happy reaction. It is not a reaction, but it is a very pleasant and happy feeling. This is the difference between good and bad. But in the final sense, both are binding. Bad is a chain of iron and good is a chain of gold. But both are binding. We have to get rid of both. But to get rid of, we have to balance our head and heart. And Baba affords us an opportunity to do it. We are not able to do it on our own at all. At every time when a man dies, he gets an opportunity to balance both of his good and bad samskaras and to escape from this illusion. But he is not able to do. You see, the balance comes very near like this, and then again it is disturbed. And when the disturbance takes place, he has to he has to come back and take another form and go on going through the rounds of births and deaths. How should this balance be acquired? Now I give a long speech, you listen, I spend my time, you spend your time, and what have we gained? This talking and listening does not lift you up. But after talking and after listening, what we are able to accomplish by dint of our effort, through our free will, through our strength, and our prayers to Baba to give us the strength, that helps us in the material sense. That material lifts us up, not merely listening and talking and all that. This is just a theory. It should be utilized. It should be practiced. It should be materialized. Then how can I balance my head and heart? I really do not know. The moment I try to do it, it escapes, and every time there is a disappointment, and then I get disgusted with it and give up the attempt, and let mind go anywhere it likes, and let heart be won over by anyone he likes. The heart may be won over by a false messiah, the heart may be won over by imitation saint, by a false perfect master, and I do not bother. Let the mind go after all my desires. Let it go anywhere, into the palace of a king or into the gutter of Ahmadnagar, I do not know. I do not bother, because I get fed up, I get disgusted. I am not able to do anything. Such a state of affair does arise in our life. Then where can I go? What shall I do? Baba is there, always. If you know, if you are serious, if you are sincere, if you are honest, If we mean something that we should really gain and achieve this balance, and that balance is nothing else, when we get it, in spite of his movements, the fundamental balance, even the movement may go on, but the balance within is always there. Hafiz has very beautifully put it. गर बुनियाद हस्ती है तो जीरो जबर शबद बर खुद मदार हीच क्यों जीरो जबर शबी. The very foundation on which you stand becomes topsy-turvy. It goes up and the head goes down. Do not take it to heart, because in fact you are not topsy-turvy at all. It is something else which you call your own. Your mind may be topsy-turvy. You are not topsy-turvy. Your body may be topsy-turvy. You are not your body, you are not your mind. You are not your so-called heart. You are something else above it. Then again we go back to our balance. This balance is nothing when out of our love, by His grace, out of our preparedness, out of our readiness, out of our seriousness, we acquire this balance in the form of conviction, as I always said. Anything that is felt by the heart, backed up by the mind. Anything thought out by the mind, backed up by the heart. And there is always an essential balance. Then somebody will ask, if you are balanced, then why things disturb you? Now I will give one example. We have a scale, isn't it? The old type of scale which had got two pans, they are hung around here. The balance is there. But still it moves a little like this. It doesn't harm. It is not fixed there. It has this little movement that doesn't disturb. A man of balance may look to be disturbed by outward impacts, but he is really not disturbed. Within himself he is perfectly balanced. And when that conviction comes, which we can really get by the help of Baba, not unaided, it is not possible for us, then we are set to prepare ourselves, we are set to help him to help us. And if at no other time in our life, at the time of our death, that balance is always maintained, and the man escapes the round of birth and death and goes and merges itself. एक इशरत कतरा है दरिया में फना हो जाना. That amounts to the drop getting merged itself into the ocean, and the problem forever is solved. So that is it. So eventually it rests so much in my hand, it rests so much in everybody's hand to attain that balance. At least be prepared to be blessed by him to get, blessed by Baba to get that balance. And the preparation is our own self, our thoughts, our deeds, our life, our conduct, to keep Baba happy and pleased. That is all. It is very simple. There are, of course, many difficulties coming in the way, but one should not feel daunted at all. And do not think that if certain mistakes are committed, that you are condemned by Baba at all. It is not that. But I do not know what your position will be if there is an element of dishonesty in it. If a man has a fall, Baba is not going to condemn him. But if he is dishonest, then it rests in Baba's hands. I do not know what the position will be, because Baba himself says it's very difficult for that dishonesty, which amounts to hypocrisy, to be pardoned. Unless the person is very special to Baba, I do not know. That is his lookout. I am in no position to say anything. So much lies in our hand. I always say, Meher Baba's blessings and our responsibilities. So we are not to escape our responsibilities and lay the entire burden on Meher Baba. He is prepared to take the burden. He is also prepared to take the burden, but it's not easy for us to give the entire burden to him. We will always keep certain reservations for us. As the man comes and says, Baba, I sacrifice my wife and my children, everything for Baba, for keep my bank account intact. Everything is sacrificed to you. Everything is surrendered to you. And we can bring about so many things. Now a person writes to me that I cannot control my thoughts, sir. You may give a long talk about an hour or so every day of your life. But when I come to the brass tacks of my mind, I am not able to control it. I said, you are very right, it is very natural. But why bother? Control your body. If you cannot control your thoughts, let the thoughts go to hell. Control your body. That you are able to do. If man gaya to jane de, mat jane de sharir. Kabir ji says, if your mind runs anywhere, let it go. But don't allow your body to go. And 50% of the work is done if you keep the body aloof. Because body produces gross impressions. These are very dense, to be eradicated. And half the problem is solved if you control the body. And a time will come. If you control the body, the mind will be controlled gradually and slowly. But just because I am not able to control my mind, and there is a suppression and depression, and I must do this, and I must expend this and all that, you see, he goes into indulgence. The pretense is suppression. The pretense is repression. It may be so for the time being, but what about the indulgence that comes later on? And that is it. Certain persons, there are quite two persons who had written to me something about their problem. I said, do not let your body go, control the mind. It was very successful, I should say. In a way, if we do not invite the thoughts, and the thoughts automatically come to us, and we do not indulge in those thoughts, neither we do house those thoughts, they come and pass by, like the flight of birds. They really do not harm you. On the other hand, they help you. Help you what? Past impressions are expended through these thoughts. And there is no further involvement. But if those thoughts, I give them a house here, I entertain them, I indulge in them, I think about them over and over again, then it amounts to a further indulgence. And we get involved into more and more into illusion. So a man who controls his body gets thoughts in the greater intensity than a man who gives vent to his thoughts and thinks that he is very happy and he is solving his problem. Not at all, sir. The problem is not solved thereby at all. It amounts to, it goes into indulgence, and there is a great suffering ahead. Feel like accepting it? Try to bring out the questions and get them solved. But they should be very sincere. Questions should be asked in a sincere way. And any outside man comes out of mere idle curiosity, he asks questions, it is not worthwhile discussing anything. I had once an encounter with a scientist in 1956 when Baba was giving darshan. And Baba said, go and talk to this man. This man would never come near, would never go away. He stood at a distance just looking all the things like this. And Baba sent me to him. And I went to him, sir, can I be of any help to you? What help? What can you do for me? Here is a man, he calls himself God. I am a man who doesn't believe in God. The world may believe in that God. I don't believe. I am an atheist. Oh, I said. Baba is very happy to have you here. He welcomes you. How can he welcome? He calls himself God. I don't believe. How can he welcome? I said, he welcomes you because you are a human being. Then he opened up his little eyes like this. And then he says, How long have you been with Meher Baba? At that time, maybe 36, 35 years, I said. What have you gained being with Meher Baba? Oh, I said, this is the question, I do not know. 37 years, shall I be able to explain in 37 hours or 37 days or 37 minutes or 37 seconds? I do not know. Sir, what are you? Can you tell me? Oh, I am a scientist. How long since? 25 years. I see. Please tell me, what have you gained being a scientist? How can I explain what I have gained? The same argument applies to me. How can I explain? However, I said, you are a sincere man, sir. You may be atheist, I do not bother, but I shall try to put in a few words what I have gained with Meher Baba. He says, go on. I said, yes. I said, I have gained two things from him. That Meher Baba has given me a conviction that God exists. If the whole world comes and tells me that God is not, I will disbelieve. He did like this again. And then I said, the second conviction is that Meher Baba is the personification of God. Huh? He says like this. I said, yes. Are you convinced? I said, yes, I am convinced. Can you give me that? Can you convince me of your conviction? I say, it's a harder task for me to answer you. I do not know. How can I convince you of my conviction? But you can take a trial of me and find out. And what is the trial? Can you not think of any trial at all? I asked him. He says, no. I said, I shall suggest your trial. So I just told him that you come before me with an open sword in your hand and stand before me. And raise up your sword like this. Look here. You say that Meher Baba is fraud, Meher Baba is charlatan, Meher Baba is false, and I shall spare you your head. And if you say Meher Baba is the personification of God, I will chop off your head. And you wait to get the answer from me. He says, what will it be? I said, definitely Meher Baba is the personification of God. Then you will lose your head. So what if? Lose my head? My head is going to be lost today, tomorrow, at any time later. And your head will also be lost in some time in future. You have not come here to live long. That fellow was a little impressed by this. Then I said, please buy one book of God Speaks, spend $5. He immediately took out $5 and bought the book. Then he came before Baba and just like he did like this. I did not expect him to, change over in a few minutes or a short time and become a Baba lover. Anyway, he bought the book, he did like this and went away. So we have now only 5 minutes on hand.
Adi, Baba gave a message that now is the time for all to know that I am God in human form. But at times I'm concerned in giving a message of Baba's life to someone who may not be ready yet. But I know that saying Baba's name is helpful to everyone.
Everyone, but that you have to be very careful. If you start throwing the seeds on rocks, they will never grow. You have to see the person. You have to become confident. If I have to climb a tree, I must find out whether the branch will bear my weight. We have to be discreet, we have to be tactful, and we have to use all our strength of power, argument, faith, conviction and all that, and gradually proceed. If the person doesn't come round by direct, you go round like him. Make friends with him and bring him. You cannot go and catch hold of his heart straight away like this, go like this. From this way, from other way, go round and try to do. If you are very interested. Otherwise, give him up to Baba. Don't bother about him or anybody who is there. If you are much concerned, then you try to devise ways and means to get him round. And Baba will help you. Yes.
Adi, did Baba ever give his approval for a man and a woman to live together, feeling that they were married, yet not having a legal marriage ceremony? Many people feel that a piece of paper is just a piece of paper.
That is true, but shall I ask you a question? If the true love is there, if the true sincerity is there between a man and a woman, why should they not marry? What comes in their way of not marrying? It creates a legal binding, is it? Supposing the mind of one of the two runs amok the next morning and one person leaves the other one and goes away. What will she do or what will he do? So there must be a binding, isn't it? To materialize the solemn relationship, the promise we are given to each other. In a spiritual way, it's not harmful, but in a practical way, it is. And where is the harm in not marrying? On the other hand, if one doesn't marry, it makes me think that there is something at the back of it, there is certain reservations, that if the time comes, I will drop the person, either one, a woman, a man or woman, and get away. So it is not proper. Yes.
How important is it to marry a Baba lover? And how difficult is it if a Baba lover marries a person who is not a Baba lover?
There is no restriction that one should necessarily marry Baba lover. One can marry somebody from outside also, but if the man wants to do Baba work, and if the other partner does not help him, then it will be a hindrance than help. If she is not a Baba lover or he is not a Baba lover.
Adi, I think Jack's thinking of getting married. He wrote the question himself.
Have you? Wait a minute. Have you recognized this just now? These are all jokes. He is free to marry. Nobody is going to come in his way at all. Sometimes I feel even God cannot interfere with two persons who they want to marry each other. Anyway. Now we have come to the end of our talk. It is 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and we got to go really. And anybody, final question somebody wants to ask, you can ask, and there we shall end a few minutes. And bid each other, Jai Baba, to meet again and again. And if not, finally meet anywhere Baba will bless us to go. Yes.
Today is the 201st birthday of America. Did Baba ever say anything about patriotism?
Sir, patriotism is a great quality. There is no doubt about it. Patriotism stands for one's own country. Baba's love stands for the whole world. Everything in life has its own importance. Baba always appreciated patriotism. But he never allowed us to overestimate or underestimate anything. Everything in its own place. And Baba had always a kind thought and love for USA, America. I should tell you this. And Baba said that I, the avatar of the age, I have spilled my blood here. So there is some relationship, there is some importance. And I think, if not today, later on, and still yet later on, the American residents will appreciate and know what Baba really did, having come all that distance and having spilled his blood here. That was not for nothing at all. And the accident was absolutely designed by him. It could not be otherwise. He has given many, many references, not actually in the form of this auto accident, but in many, many ways. And that is it. So we are very happy to meet in the same country which Baba loved so much. And we hope that Baba's blessings always be there over the whole world, including chiefly USA. Jai Baba.